connect with their inner world, harness the magic of their emotions, and transform the most important relationship they have, the one they have with themselves. And Ilona, I just enjoy you so much. And it's so nice to share the screen with you, at least. I haven't been able to hug you since
Yes.
COVID has ordered my travel plans to Miami. But I just really enjoy your Monday magic and your oracle cards with the chakras and things that you do. And it's always so precise and always on time.
Thank you so much. And I'm so honored to be able to share that and that you have experienced that. And I'm so excited to see you on the screen as well, since we have yet to meet in person.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hop off and like let you do your thing, because you're gonna be talking about practical magic today, girl. Take it away.
All right, everybody. I am Ilona Pamplona, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm going to start my presentation. Hopefully y'all can see it. And I'm just going to go ahead and start letting you know, oops, here we go. I'm getting technical support because you know how it goes. Let's see. Please stand by as I get the presentation shared with everyone. Can you all see it? Nope, okay. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna improvise. I'm just gonna talk to you from my presentation because I do have some really juicy notes, and you get to see my face. Is everyone okay with that? Because at the end of the day, it's the words, not necessarily the screen, right? Okay, so while we do this, I'm just gonna start with, I'm setting you all up. First of all, I'm Ilona Pamplona, Postmodern Oracle. You know, Daniela already did an amazing job to introduce me. And what I want you to do is, as we start the more mental part of this experience, right? The mind-based experience. As we go through today, I want you to think about first setting the intention of, what am I looking to transform today? And what is my relationship with the words I use? Because magic and being a witch and being a bitch doesn't have to be this extraordinary thing. Magic and this experience of being a bruja, a witch, a bitch, is really a lot in our way of being and our way of thinking. And words carry a lot of that. And so as we go, one of the reasons that I want to focus on the word piece is because words impact our behavior, right? And so there is a actual trans-theoretical model of behavior change created a long, long time ago. And there are 5 stages, but I see them in 3 buckets. So there's awareness, like when you realize something needs to change. There's action, you taking that moment to try it. And then there's maintenance, where you actually go, oh my gosh, I've created and maintained a behavior. And so I want to walk us through awareness, and then I'm going to talk about the power of words, because when we understand how behavior works and how words impact us, then that's where the magic practically begins to happen and shift in your life. So we start with awareness. Awareness in behavior change is all about pre-contemplation and contemplation. That's like, I don't think I have a problem. People tell me I have a problem, but I don't have a problem. And it's typically activated through external feedback. So it could be someone telling you, right? Like typically a doctor will hear like, well, my wife told me I need to get this checked out. But from like a witchy bruja perspective, it could be an oracle card really received or shared a message with you that really made you look at an area of your life that you weren't paying attention to. I want to hear in the comments, has anybody ever had that where you like didn't realize that there's an area of your life that you get to look at and you get to transform until something outside of you made you witness that? And once again, it could be oracle cards, it could be a friend and family, sometimes it could be a book you read. All these tools are an awareness opportunity for us to say, oh my goodness, this is where I get to transform in my life. And so what it tends to do is when you have that aha moment, you go, oh, I get to change this, we move into action. And so with action, that is usually motivated by like your own internal awareness. Oh my goodness, I haven't been paying attention to this, and I get to do something about this. And I see Maricela saying just recently, would love to hear what sparked that awareness, Maricela. And Lillian is saying, yeah, books do that for me. Books are a major awareness tool that when we really receive the message, it puts us into the next phase, which is action, y'all. So when you get that internal aha that I get to do something, we literally get motivated to do something something about it. And what we usually do is we either take action by preparing, saying, okay, what are the tools? What are the things I need? Like if you want to do a 5K, you don't just wake up and do a 5K, right? You get the sneakers. You maybe start with walking around your block and then walking up, you know, working it up until you get to that 5K so that you can be fully prepared for the experience. And then you take the action. I'm seeing a lot of books. I just read a book about self-esteem. Yeah, books are a major preparation tool for then taking action. Once we release from action, action is actually not the last step of behavior change. The last official academic step of or stage of behavior change is maintenance. And this is the underlying thought behind this is me. So this isn't like, oh, I need to do something. This is like inherent. This is a new integrated experience and way of being for you. And when you really keep it up, that's when behavior changes. So you're probably thinking, okay, what does this have to do with words? What does this have to do with practical magic? Well, let's talk a little bit about words and why they're important. The first piece is neuroplasticity. Very fancy, long way of saying that your brain, the thoughts that we think and the words that we say actually impact our behavior, our life experience, and the way we show up. And the way, you know, think about the pictures that you see of the brain, right? They've got all those little grooves and all those pathways. And those are set. However, you can create new pathways in your brain for new behaviors, for new ways of thinking, for new ways of being. And what does it require? It requires thoughts and words. And so when we understand the impact, the root of the words, yes, I see affirmation. When we understand the root of words, we actually come to see that words are portals for manifestation. And I'm going to show you how understanding words, how powerful it could be. So, you know, if you've been to Morning Cafecito, if you're a comadre and you've been to Cafecito, you know I break down words to their root etymology. So what did I do? I broke down the word witch and the word bitch. So that, because the other thing is when we understand what words mean, we actually know how we're using them and we decide what relationship we have to them. So the word witch, and I'd love to hear in the comment section, you know, a lot of times, what is the energy? What is the feeling that you get with the word witch? I know that for growing up, like the word witch to me was like that would be the face I make, right? You have a physical experience, like, like that's not necessarily something you want to be associated with. But as I dug into the etymology, it's complicated. The roots are complicated, but there is a beautiful, beautiful way to understand the word witch. And I'm kind of flying by this. I see that I'm really excited about the words. I'm going to slow it down because this is where we get to sink in and really understand the power of words. So according to the Old English Dictionary, no one actually really officially knows where the word witch came from, okay? But as I dug deeper, it could possibly come from the word Wicca, which means female magician sorceress. And that could be from Wicca, which is a wizard, a man who practices magic or witchcraft. So the word witch originally was actually a masculine word. So here we already are starting to deconstruct the idea that witches necessarily are only women. And what I loved is that as I dug deeper, I found out that there's a suggested connection with Old English wiggle, which means divination. So, you know, I went a little bit further and said, well, what does divination mean? So when we dig into the root etymology of the word divination, it's actually really beautiful. And we start to really understand what being a witch means. It comes from first, late 14th century French divination, which means an act of foretelling. So foretelling is seeing ahead of time or saying ahead of time. But what I loved, let's look at the second part. It's the discovering what is hidden or obscure, right? So we've got these folks. So the root of witch is Wicca, people who do witchcraft or divination. And what is divination? But uncovering what is hidden, y'all. And as you dig deeper, divination comes from Latin divinationem, which is the power of foreseeing, but that's a past participle of divinare. And divinare literally means to be inspired, and it comes from divine, which means to shine. So as we continue to figure this out, I also thought of the word magic because magic was in this, and that comes from Greek magikos, which means a member of the learned or priestly class, or Old Persian magush, which means to have power. So y'all, are you seeing how like witch is like not actually as negative or as evil or as really um, something that you don't want to be like? The more I understood the word witch, the more I was like, okay, I actually like witches. I actually like the spirit of the words that it comes from, right? Thank y'all. I'm so glad that you're okay. So what I did, everybody, is I took all of these words and I kind of came up with my own definition of witch. Because when we put all these things together, it could say that witches are therefore a learned individual who is able to use hidden knowledge, the occult, to be perceived in the act of divination by being communed with the divine, which is shining their light. Taking it a step further, it really looks like it means being a light in the dark, right? Because you're using the light, the divination, the shining to uncover the dark. So we're a lot of people are talking about being a light worker, and being a light worker seems to really be the spirit of being a witch. So if you're a light worker and you deny the word witch, well, it's time to reclaim its definition, its meaning, and what your title is. So then I got into bitch, y'all. Bitch, so language, understanding the root spirit of language is important, but furthermore, understanding context, tone, intonation is the next level of understanding language and how we use it. So when I looked up bitch, it was actually much easier than witch, y'all. It is very straightforward. It's English bike, which means female dog, or Old Norse bikuna, which is the female of the dog. Very clear, has nothing to do with women, nothing to do with being mean-spirited. It is literally the female of the dog species, right? So when did we now in the modern context learn that it's a woman? In fact, I would love to hear in the chat, what do you perceive? Like when you hear the word bitch, what are the different meanings? What are the different energies that come up for you when you hear this word? Because in fact, I think of it as like a rude woman, a woman who's not nice, right? Like that's what we have been taught, which made me think they've dehumanized women in their power by calling us not only a dog, but saying that we're not women. It dehumanized us by using this context. And so I did some digging. And once again, if anyone has some definitions or what they feel when they think of the word bitch, yeah, a woman who is confident and self-assured. I love that. Yes, that is a really good one. In fact, it wasn't until the women's suffrage movement in the United States that the word bitch came into with the context of not being a good woman or being dehumanized. And I found this article on Vox by Lee Jo that says, bitch, it wasn't until the 30s that we started seeing it moves from like this scholarly use of the word bitch for a female dog in scholarly articles and articles about animals. And it wasn't until the suffrage movement when women wanted to assert their power by having the right to vote that the word bitch then became into context as a woman who is unworthy, unruly, and such. Yeah, I used to think of it as a rude term, and now I think of it as a woman who's an individual and a boss. Yeah, because that's the magic. I wanted to share, and I'm so glad that Lindsay said that, right? Because here's the cool thing about language. Language evolves, language changes basis on context and tone, and we can reclaim it through that. And so bitch was, like I said, it basically dehumanized us from our experience in power. And so I recently saw a video, and I really loved to put this in context about the idea of how tone and context tells us how bitch is used. And in the video, a woman was saying how the tone that she used for the word bitch changed the meaning. So she was saying how if she would call a friend over, she would say, bitch, right? And that's one way of saying, hey, come over here. And that, for example, if her friend had bought her a shot at a bar, she would be like, bitch, like it would be higher in tone and celebratory, and that would be exciting. And at the same time, she said, if her friend had saved her a joint, she would be like, oh, bitch. And it's still the same word, but used in a context. Equally, had her friend not saved the joint, she'd be like, bitch, right? So can you see how intonation allows us to have the same word with an exact different meaning, and how it's our usage that allows us to reclaim this? showing our assertiveness, speaking up for causes. Yes, little did they know that they just gave us a new word to be empowered. Exactly. So I talk a lot about spellings and how words cast spells into our lives. And I'm actually getting close to the end, so we actually have time for questions if anyone has any. But one of the things that I love to really kind of leave you with in this experience today, y'all, is that the words cast spells. That is your practical magic. While I love having oracle cards, not all of us may feel called to do that. Not all of us may feel called to physically heal people. Some of us are witches and bitches just by the words we use. And when you understand the root of the words and how you're using the words, that is how you cast spells and magic into your lives and the lives of others. So now the root, so root carries its original spirit. Words have spirit. So when you're confused, when you're having a relationship with the word and you feel like you're just not comfortable, look up the spirit of the word. Go deep and find out, where did this word come from? And why am I relating to this word so specifically? Because that will help you free yourself, perhaps from shackles that specific word may be trying to have on you. Because one thing that I learned in college, so one thing I didn't mention is I'm a polyglot. I speak several languages, studied several languages in college. And a linguistic professor once told me that words are innocent. It is we humans who put the meaning onto it. And this is why I always dig into the root of the word. Now, reclamation of these words can be done by tone and intonation and context. So that is very basic ways that you can create practical magic and reclamation of words into your life without having any other external tools in your everyday. So I also wanted to leave you with ideas, right? Because you're going to come out of here with a lot of experiences that you can take. You know, we've got Marlene coming up with oracle cards. We've got Michelle going to be talking about money. And then this is why I set us up with the behavior change. Now that you know how you can use words powerfully, and now you know the framework of behavior change, I want you to think about in each of these sessions, how can I shift everything that I'm learning to create behavior change? And remember, that's awareness. Oh, I didn't know that. Action, what can I do? And maintenance, how can I make this an integrated behavior? So for example, with words, one of the most basic and simple ways that you see everywhere is the idea of journaling, because in journaling, you're using your words. You're taking your words from your mind, writing them down, and really observing things that your subconscious is telling you. This creates awareness. This creates awareness to blind spots. I invite you to even look up journaling prompts that allow you to really stretch into your subconscious to see and uncover from your subconscious the words that you are not even saying to yourself in the moments you don't have these external tools to support you. And so then how do we put this into action? When you have an awareness, I love telling my clients to create affirmations, specifically in the I am statement way, because then that supports the second stage of behavior change, which is that action. And the reason I say the I am statement for affirmations is because that is the most powerful way to integrate an action. I am whatever you're trying to create in your life once you've created an awareness. And the more you repeat an I am statement, the more you repeat an I am statement, the more you actually create new pathways in your brain. Now, that doesn't mean that you say an I am statement once. It doesn't mean you say an I am statement twice and you're a new person. But the more you repeat an I am statement, the more you've actually started carving out a little root in your brain that will allow the maintenance of the neuroplasticity, of the new brainwave, of the new experience that you want to do. Words can slowly create reality for the body. Yes, absolutely. And personally, for the third suggestion, now these are just suggestions. You might discover you will like other ways of creating this awareness and maintenance of behavior change. I personally love music because music often uses words. And so music that supports this I am statement, this action, this awareness, so that you can maintain this behavior. So for example, I love Tony Jones, and I want to give a shout out to comadre Virginia Jimenez of Love Camp, who reminded me about her because she has whole music playlists based purely on affirmations. And so you might find that there are other songs, other music, other artists that inspire you with their music, but music is such an easy way to integrate the maintenance of the I am statements that support the new awareness that you want to, that leads to new behavior change. Yes, Tony Jones is amazing. So I've got only a few minutes left, comadres, and I'm pretty sure that's the end of my presentation. And our team already put in my social media. Would love to hear if there are any questions or anything you want to know about words, but I just want you to think, thank you all, thank you, I love you. I thank you everyone for being here, all the comadres and viewers, new people getting to know us. I'm so honored to be able to present with you all, and I can't wait to see what the other presenters have for us today.
All right, so I was supposed to have a mic, but you know, oh, Danny's here too. We're good.
Yes, that was amazing. And I love what you did there, because I had so many people when I was self-identifying as a witch, like, well, why would you want to do that? Aren't you Christian? Aren't you, you know what I mean? And it's like to really break it down and reclaim both those things that have been used in so many ways to denigrate women and to put women down for their internal wisdom and their knowing and for showing up fully is like, that is magic. That alone is magic. Thank you so much, Ilona. You're fantastic.
Thank you.
I want to remind everybody, in the chat, you'll find ways to reach Ilona. Also, you will find her social media handles. She's on Clubhouse. She's on Instagram. She's making reels. This girl's making content. You know, go ahead, get a reading, drop some stuff her way. You know, she's always dropping gems and sharing wisdom. We love you so much, Ilona. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, loves, bye.
Any questions so far? I want to make sure nobody has questions. I think you were so clear, though. You were so clear, girl.
One word that I'm so glad you mentioned your reclamation of the word witch, Danny, too, because it reminded me of bruja. I also discovered
yes, bruja.
Bruja. You know where bruja comes from?
Tell me.
So bruja apparently comes from Iberian Celtic brishta, which is probably a dedication to Saint Bridget, and it means magic.
I love.
So it's all about magic. It's all about light.
Yes, we love that. Isn't that amazing? Wow is right, Lillian. Girl, I'm always in awe of you and all the magic that you share. Thank you so much. We're gonna go ahead and start shutting this down, give you guys a couple minutes to get settled and get ready, because we're going to have a collective reading with Marlene. Oh, we're so excited. Yes. All right. See you there.